I'll just give details on that story. The Nigerian football officials are hiding behind, according to Premium Times, the Federation of International Football Association, that's FIFA regulation. And this regulation prohibits government interference in football matters to divert, that they're using this to divert grants and funds from sponsorship deals. Now this, just to give you a background of what this law expects. FIFA makes it mandatory for its members to be free from control of government, as well as its finance handling systems, such as the Treasury Single Account or the TSA, and also to be free from financial regulations and statutory audit inspections in the case of Nigeria. Now, according to the week-long investigations by Premium Times, the Amaju Pinnick-led Nigerian Football Federation exploits this independence to mismanage funds at its disposal, which includes allocations from the public treasury. Now, the investigation involved reviews of official documents from the NFF. It also involved the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, the Presidency, the Ministry of Youth and Sports, as well as testimonies from people familiar with the operations of the Football Federation. Now, the Sports Ministry is particularly worried about the public accountability problems associated with the finances of the NFF. Now, it's not only set up an inter-ministerial probe committee to investigate the alleged corruption of the Football Federation, it's also referred the body to the EFCC. Now, the paper reports that the Sports Ministry struggles to come to terms with the NFF's lack of regards for the ministry and for government's regulations in handling finances, whereas the football body receives funding from the government through the federal budget. Now, it's important to understand that in the budget, the NFF is listed as a parastatal under the ministry, and that way it receives public funding. The body is allocated 1.3 billion naira and 1.1 billion naira it received those two amounts in the 2016 and 2017 budgets respectively. And that is apart from federal funding. NFF receives financing of its operations from sponsorship payments and grants from FIFA and CAF. But for all cases, the ministry, as the investigation reveals, expects proper documentation of the NFF's finances. So that's what's happening with the NFF. Is it exploiting a loophole in order to free itself from any sort of accountability? Well, joining me to get to the bottom of this is our sports expert, Nonso Arizechi. Nonso, good morning. It's a pleasure to have you on the show.
It's a pleasure to be here. It's always nice to be on the show.
Now, you told me when we were talking about this earlier, this is not a new problem.
Yeah.
It's something that's been going on for a long while.
Yeah.
When did this problem start, or when was it observed?
It's been a long time. Like, first of all, the creation of NFF from the foundation has a lot of issues. Like you said, the creation of NFF is a parastatal in the Ministry of Sports.
It used to be the NFA.
It used to be the NFA, but there was a change of name to be where it was changed from the NFA to NFF, but it still remained in the constitution, still remained as a parastatal of the Ministry of Sport. That is to give account of what its record is well documented to the Ministry of Sport. But there is a caveat, like you said, and where FIFA says that government should not interfere in the running of football, according to FIFA, that if they do, that every case of football should be taken to the court of arbitration for sports. That is, it is a court for sports only. If not, the hammer will drop down on Nigeria, and there will be subsequent bans, or maybe even for fixture of tournaments, even after if you have qualified. This has been a long issue from the Megari board down to before we got to the Amaju Pinnick board. It has been a major issue. Can you be independent and still collect funds from the government to run your activities?
This is the question.
And if you are not independent, and if you are taking funds from the government, that means you should be able to tell the people, the public, what those funds are used for, and those funds you get from your sponsors also, what are they used for? Because, like you said, those sponsors, it's a way, I like to call it, I've called social responsibility, CSR. It's a way they give back to the society. So if they are sponsoring sport in that magnitude through the NFF, the people, the companies and the bodies who invest their money on these things, and also the public should be aware of what this money are used for. But unfortunately, anytime these cases like this comes up, the first shelter of the NFF will be the FIFA has said that nothing should go to the court.
And I can see
of
why
court.
the federal government would be weary of this situation because NFF
Yeah.
had a leadership controversy for a long time between Amoju Pinnick and Ambassador Chris Giwa. And this was a case that went to court. Courts at different levels from Jos all the way to Abuja. We had the ugly incident where Ambassador Chris Giwa got a judgment and basically came to the NFF headquarters with policemen and charged his way into that office. And we saw the stern and swift response from FIFA. And it was going to negatively affect Nigerian football development.
I think a lot of times I normally say that we Nigerians, we, especially the Africans, we always feel the hammer of FIFA more than the other countries, that is both the countries in Europe and in South America. There are a lot of cases like this. I can pinpoint the case of Argentina, where they had to let go of their board due to corruption cases. They were charged to civil courts, and they were found guilty. And the FA was banned, but Argentina still take part in FIFA competitions. So why can't we at some point stamp our authority on the ground? You talked about the Chris Giwa issue, where the court or civil court in Nigeria had come out clear to say that he should take charge of the NFF pending when the final rule would take place. But FIFA came out even before, during the World Cup, if I can remember, when the question was thrown at the president of FIFA, that is Gianni Infantino. He said clearly that he only recognized the board of the Ahmad-led board. The other boards are not reliant to him. Don't forget, in the court of arbitration, Giwa was banned and also from footballing activities, and also he was also kicked out of the NFF. But we have our courts here. If, like I said, if truly we are independent, we shouldn't be judged by rule of law. But the NFF, don't forget, the NFF also appealed against that decision. So are we double standard, right? That's what we're looking at right now.
So you're saying FIFA has a double standard?
It's automatically there's a double standard.
For footballing giants.
Yes, they give them soft, and for the young and upcoming countries,
especially
Africa,
countries.
the hammer goes through. I still feel like you said, we want accountability. The reason why our sports in Nigeria have not developed is because there's no proper accountability. Why do I say so? Don't forget, like you said, it revealed that how much 1.3 billion, 1.1 billion was given to the NFF for the running of the activities from both from the junior cadet level to the Super Eagles, even to the Super Falcons, and also to the junior cadets in the female level. This money were given to them because they were not able to run their sports, getting sponsorship from from other companies. Look at the likes of England, the likes of Brazil, the likes of Scotland, Canada. These FAs run their activities based on money they get from sponsors. They are able to get enough money to run their activity, take care of the activities of the NFF, and also even for developmental cases. But in Nigeria here, why I really ask, why are we not making enough money to run our football? It's simple logic. I want to put in 1 naira and know what my 1 naira is used for. That's what the companies will tell you. We've invested in the NFF, we've invested in the NFF. What has it been used for?
What have we gotten in return?
At some point,
or what has it been used for? Even
yes. What can we say this money was used for? There is totally no accountability in the NFF. As I'm talking to you right now, the NPFL has no sponsor. That is the Nigerian Professional Football League. This is
used to be sponsored by
Globacom,
and
at some point
invested a lot of money into it and brought
TV to it.
Not to promote Global or anything, but it brought television into it, and it made it more visible.
More pay TV.
And I happen to know that the Premier League is what it is today because of television rights. The big money that we see going in there. Why a club like Real Madrid or
Barcelona,
Manchester United or PSG can afford to spend 100 million for a single player is because of the kind of money that television brings in.
Because
this is what the earlier attempt was
to get it on TV.
And you're saying right now
this
opportunity doesn't exist.
It doesn't exist because we don't even watch our leagues on TV. The NPFL is not, we can't find it on any page. We can't even find it on our own terrestrial TV. I was saying in some other platform, I said the best way to get our league up and running is give this league to the terrestrial TV. If the game is played at the Rivers International Stadium, let the Rivers TV take it up. If a game is played in Lagos, we have the Lagos TV. We have TVs that are based in Lagos. Cover the games that are close to your vicinity. At some point, let me put it down. I like to put it this way: the average Nigerian man don't even know their players in the NPFL. And how well do you try to build your team? You know, the crop of the under 17 or the 20s or the 23s, the national team, some of them are from this cadets. And that's why you see our players running even to obscure leagues as far as Uzbekistan, as far as Japan, to play. Not because the league may be better or because they can easily, but because they earn meet. They are paid very well. They take care of their health issues when they are injured. They're properly taken care of, and they feel good. So they don't mind leaving the shore of Nigeria here and going as far. We have a lot of cases where our players has gone as far and has died due to bad weather, due to a lot of banditry, and a lot of issues. So I still feel the NFF, like you said, this has been a bone of contention. We need to get this clear. I think the NFF needs to go back to maybe the constitution, back to the Senate to get a bill to make them stand on their own. And if they're standing on their own, I still feel specifically that they should stop funded by government. If they are funded by government, then they should be accounted.
Then they should be accountable.
They should be accountable by government. Yeah,
because this is the sticky point.
Yeah.
How do I fund an organization, and then you say I shouldn't
play any role?
But then is it that simple? Because if the government should hands off, there is a real and clear danger that football would suffer.
Yeah.
Probably even sports development may collapse in Nigeria.
Yeah.
This is why government is doing this.
Yeah.
This is why the NFF is listed as a parastatal, so that government can
give
sort of give it
a
kick or a shot in the arm to get it going.
Yeah.
So can the government just simply hands off and?
I keep saying it every other day. I say clearly that NFF is not ready to be independent. I'm not coming from any from any side of the table, but I'm just saying it categorically clear. If the NFF is sound enough to be independent, it should be able to run their activities without the intervention and the help of government. Government wouldn't put as much as 1.3 billion and then you shut them out on what's going on. At some point, some few months back, 3 of the officials of the NFF were charged to civil courts for misappropriation of funds in the NFF. Well, I think the accountant and some 2 other members, not really the big shots in the NFF, but these are members who misappropriated funds. If this can be meted out to the younger ranks of the NFF, why not go as high as even the president? We want accountability. I keep saying the reason why we don't get sponsors because nobody knows what the money is used for. I can remember the last time we went to the World Cup, FIFA gave out some funds and said, okay, this fund should be used to take care of the players before they head to the World Cup. Why? Because there have been cases of the Super Eagles going on strike during the World Cup. Because lack of payment of wages, mad bonuses, bonuses. We had a great team in 1998. I felt we would have gone on shock to the world and go as far as semi-finals. But what happened? They stopped training. They went on strike. The next game they were beaten 4-1 by Denmark. This is what we're talking about. We're talking about it's not all about getting being independent and then still getting funds from government. You want to be independent, fine. We get the Senate to do a bill. You take care of your fundings. But at the end of the day, they will come out clear to tell you there's no fund here. They under 17 cannot play friendlies matches because there's no fund here. They can't travel because there's no fund here. And what do they do back? They fall back on government to bail them out. A lot of time. I could go back and talk about the Sparfacos who had to march down to the Senate to get their wages. And they were paid by the government, not the NFF.
So is there a case to be made here by the Nigerian government? Should they engage FIFA and say, maybe African countries who have similar challenges, engage FIFA and say, look, if you truly want football to develop in our countries, then you have to look at this rule. Because we are the ones who are funding these things, and we need accountability. Would FIFA listen to such an approach?
The rule is the rule, like FIFA would always say. This rule has been there for as long as I can remember. But like I said, it's not a today thing. They came out clear to say that. I think the reason for this rule was good when it first came out. It was to get both the FAs of different countries up and doing, get them running on a good slate. And because there was a time where the government would come out and take out a standing president and put in another person and disrupt the activities of the federation.
Or even demand that certain players.
Yeah, demand that certain players be played.
I remember when Sani Abacha demanded that Dodo Mayana, Peter Rufai should be brought back into post. And by presidential decree, it happened.
It happened. So that is the reason why FIFA brought out this rule, this law in their status. But the truth remains that Africa are not there yet. I like to compare myself with England because we arguably say that's the most watched league in the world, is the best, has the best national team in the world. You know, they have the FA and they have the league. The league stands on its own, it funds for itself.
That's the Premier League.
It's on its own.
It's a company.
Yeah, it doesn't have to source from even the FA. It has a lot of sponsors, even sponsors from Nigeria. As I'm talking to you, people pay to sponsor that league. And they have enough money to take care of the activities and even invest on development of sports. If you check out, a lot of artificial turfs here in Africa are bought in by these clubs in England, like Arsenal.
Thank you for
Chelsea.
bringing this up, because I was reading the history of the Premier League and trying to find out why it became so successful, the most watched league in the world. Maybe whether it's the best or not is arguably up in the air, but I think definitely it would be the most watched. And just the story basically goes that they were all in the first division, and then a group of 20 teams resigned from the championships and decided to form a league of their own, which ultimately became a Premier League. Which it was formed as a private company. It's commercially driven, completely independent, does not have to depend or run to government for any sort of bailout.
Even not even the federation itself.
Not even the federation. And if you are, of course, there are teams that get relegated back to the championship. So what makes teams desire to win the championships and move on to the Premier League is the profitability that you get access to when you are, because you get to share in the proceeds and the profits of having to play in the Premier League on that stage, of the visibility that it gives you. The kind of return you get from playing a Manchester United, for instance, or a Chelsea, or a Manchester City.
Huge.
Your stadium is definitely going to be packed on that day.
It's huge.
So it increases your
let me shock you a little bit, Stanley. A lot of teams would give away the FA Cup to remain in the league. That's the Federation Cup to remain in the league. They could see a team playing a second string team in the semi-finals of the cup just because he has a game that if he wins,
he'll qualify.
He will remain in the league. That's how important the team that finished 4th, 5th, 6th in the league ain't more money than the team that wins the cup. That is how large the Premier League has become. The money, like you said, from TV rights to different rights, and by the time you take this money in,
shirt sponsorship,
shirt sponsorship, to like I said, even sponsors. People now, apart from sponsoring the league itself, they sponsor individual clubs themselves. They pay. Okay, let me have a relationship with you. That's how good the Premier League has become. I don't think Nigeria is ready yet. No disrespect to whoever I run.
Do you see us having that?
I do. I see it.
Do you see, like, say, Zenith Bank, Diamond Bank, Dangote, all these guys coming and saying, okay, you know what? Let's build stadia. And let's
I think the good thing about Nigeria is that we're blessed with good stadiums. I don't know how, maybe due to the fact that political, the governors want to build stadiums here and there as part of their mantle. We've got good stadiums in Nigeria.
But most of our stadiums are government owned.
Yeah, what I'm saying.
Unlike in the Premier League, where
they are
it's
privately
the clubs that own these stadiums and the arenas, and this is how they
but they could lease them. Even teams in the Premier League do lease clubs from the government. They could lease them. They could lend them for some period of time until they get their stadium up and running. But we can make it work here. I think the reason why our league is still not there is due to, I keep saying, it's accountability. I've said it everywhere. Nobody wants to put in money for waste, for the show of it. I'm giving from good authority. Even people who invest in the NFF and other things, because they know someone who is there and they're trying to do a favor to who is leading that particular organization. That's why they invest. Not really because they see a future there or because they see something good they want to gain from that institution. No, right now we have Ateo sponsoring the NFF. I think that has been before. It used to be the Federation Cup. Now it's the Ateo Cup. A lot of people say it's still not enough. One sponsor, yes, they're doing very well. We now have an award night. We now have a lot of euphorias in the Federation Cup, but it's still not enough. Gone are those days when we had the Coca-Cola FA Cup, where the crowd was massive. Watching the final was one of the biggest things to go through. But the FA Cup has lost its glamour, and that's why I say it's accountability. There were times in Nigeria where companies wanted to invest, and they did invest. and what the returns were not to write him about.
So what is it that causes these poor returns?
Like I said, we need a margin of control, and that's why I still feel government need to come in to run our sport for a certain period of time, because even the Premier League, at some point the government will run in the sport until they said, okay, we have grown enough and we've got the capital, we want to stay on our own.
So
I give you a template of Great Britain before the last Olympics. What did they do? People were they said, okay, we want to get a team that can do very well at the Olympics that we'll be hosting. How do we get that running? People, they kept getting the funds from individuals. And the individuals, they were using those funds to train athletes. Whether they were from Britain or they grew up in Britain, all they knew they were going to participate and represent the Great Britain. And that was what worked for them. In 4 years, they made a team that that shocked the world at the Olympics. They had a plan. And it's not cast in stone, not even a 10-year plan. I'm talking about 4 years towards the Olympics. We can do it. I just feel if we put ₦1 in sports, I want to see the value of that ₦1 in the sports. The typical corruption is in not only in Nigeria but into sport. By the time you put in ₦1, before it gets to the final consumer, it may be even as low as 20 kobo. Mm-hmm. God bless the late Fashikum, who was a sport journalist who died recently. He brought about a prospect where people could invest their little money, as low as even 1,500, to get these athletes. He said it wasn't given to the federation, but to these athletes to train for the next Olympics. That was his plan, to get these athletes running. We can do it. But by the time you say you want to invest on sport and then you give it to the federation, and before it gets to the athletes, it's more of scrabbles.
Pretty much gone. So what should happen next? Because it seems to me we're between a rock and a hard place.
Yeah.
If government intervenes and tries to go tough, FIFA will now threaten expulsion.
Yeah.
If government stays aloof, then government would be doing the Nigerian public a disservice by pumping money into an association that does not account to it.
Yeah, and it's not even working.
So what do you do?
Like you said, we're in a crossroad. I personally believe that government should stamp the authority. That's my own belief. And then, like I said,
Step in,
stamp the authority.
Regardless of what may happen.
Let's look at it from this perspective. If Nigeria, the NFF, that is Nigeria Football Federation, cannot tell us what the funds gotten from FIFA has been used for, then how can it tell us what the funds gotten from the government is used for? But the government, I want government to stamp the authority and say, okay, if you get ₦1 from, I'm giving an example right now, from Zenith Bank, tell us what to use the ₦1 for. You get ₦10 from FIFA, show us how it was used. You get ₦2 from us, that is the government, tell us how it was used. If government stamp the authority and say, no, enough's enough, be accountable, tell us what these funds are used for, both from from sponsors, from government, from FIFA. I give us the next 10 years, I think our sports will develop. Not only just football in general, because it has eaten deep in the whole of sports. But the main trouble in sports has been football because of that caveat from FIFA that no, don't take footballing matters to civil court, bring it to court of arbitration. And if you are lucky to be on the good books of FIFA at that point in time, you get the win. Personally, I'm not a Giwa-list, I don't do that, but I still feel he wasn't given fair hearing. It was just okay.
Why is that?
That's because before he got to the court of arbitration, his case was thrown out. It was like, okay.
That's the court of arbitration.
Yes, his case was thrown out.
It was thrown out.
It was thrown out.
And it was thrown out on the basis that he went to a Nigerian court.
Yeah, and that was one of the reasons he was banned. Don't forget, he was banned. He's still banned from that country. FIFA. He's banned from any footballing activities. Don't forget, the painful part is these are people who really invested in this, but there was at one point in time there was a Giwa FC.
Yes, Giwa owned his own football team.
In the NPFL.
FC, in fact, they were in the MPFL.
Yeah, and where are they now? They're not even in the MPFL. I think they're in the lower cadre. That was how they drove his. And these are his investment in sports. I'm not against about the penny, but I want to point out where he is invested in sports, even in his state. I can find out, but I can say, okay.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not sure that, just like you, that Chris Giwa is the ideal person to govern the NFF.
We're not saying that.
But when somebody has shown commitment to the point where he's ready to put his money where
and he wasn't owing.
And he's not owing.
Then he wasn't owing. It was run smoothly. And it was one of the best run teams in the MPFL. There were a lot of young talent that right now are still playing the MPFL that went through that streamline. And that's what I'm talking about. You could see that he invested. Well, I don't think he was given fair hearing. Maybe because he went to the court, civil court, he was suspended, he was banned, and even Pinnick, as far as, like I said, even the president of FIFA came out in a press conference to say that he only knows one board, and that's the Ahmadu Pinnick-led board. I don't think it was given fair hearing.
Well, and to be fair, the image of Chris Giwa being, storming the glass house with mobile policemen, that did not do him any favors internationally.
I didn't do him any good. And I think at the end of the day, it came back to that fear factor I was talking about. At some point, okay, since FIFA was about to throw in to hit the hammer, let's get everything up and running. Let's take him out of the NFF. Let's put Ahmadu Pinnick. Let's stabilize NFF and let us just let it go. But is that the right thing? Was that the right way to go? No. I just feel the only way we can get Nigeria running again when it's talking about running football. Look at us at the World Cup. Teams like England, I don't think they've got better players than us. I don't think they've got a better manager than us. Barely the coach who took them to the World Cup semi-finals is a rookie when it comes to coaching the national team. I'm talking about Gareth Southgate. But what happened? I keep talking about the 1998 squad. It could have been better. It's just proper mismanagement from the top to the bottom. These are professionals. Look at our best players in the diaspora. They don't want to come back. Why? Because they feel they wouldn't be taken care of. Even the ones that have played for us, I'm not diverted to basketball, will tell you they can't come back until they are being insured. There's an amount you have to pay for their insurance for them to play for Nigeria in case of injuries. And the NBA wouldn't play. The MBBF wouldn't pay. So these are the things we want to look at. If we want the best for our own sport, we need to put in the right money into it and see that the value of this money is well served. We can't be going around circles.
You are recommending that the government should step in and be firm, demand accountability.
Yeah.
But the government itself does not have a very good track record of accountability.
Yeah. Well, like I said, that's
Can you give what you don't have?
I know that's another aspect of the issue. But I just feel someone has to stand firm. Gone are those days where we could just sit back and allow the NFF do what they want to do in the next 4 years. They do. Let me call back. I think it was 3 years ago when they brought in the communique. Where before then, for you to be the NFF, you don't have to be a member of anybody. You just kind of come out on your own and say, okay, I have new ideas, I have new philosophies. I want to become the president of the NFF. You contest. If you win, good, all fine and good. But then they made it down. They now created a communique that said, for you to be the president of the NFF, you must have been a member of the body in your state. You must have gone through different. Make it a little bit more stringent to compete. So I, as an individual, maybe having good ideas for the NFF, I have to start from scratch. I mean, before I get there, I'll be as old, and I won't be able to do a little or half of what I've planned to do. These are the things people are looking at. Okay, are they giving the NFF too much power to run their activities? Can there be a limit to the power that they have? Because right now, it's like ultimate power. It's like there is no check, there's no balances. They are in control, in full control. Whatever happens to the NFF, they can sit down at some point and create a rule, a law that governs the NFF, and it stands because there is no interference from both government, there's no interference from ministry. But and that's why I fought it. A lot of times, Solomon Dalong, that is the Honorable Minister for Sports, will keep saying that there is no money. They'll keep crying, there's no money, but there's no money, and they still fall back to the Ministry of Sports to bail them out when they don't have money.
Then they get money,
and
once they get it, then they waive FIFA's immunity.
Yes,
you can't touch us. That has got to stop.
Yeah, that has to stop.
What is the way forward? Because I know in the immediate, you recommend that the government should step in, and it still has a role to play for sports development.
Yeah,
but ultimately, we need the NFF to stop being a parastatal.
Yeah.
And to become a commercial entity
on its own.
That is self-sustaining, that is
get sponsors,
and we can get the kind of big money that we know. And Nigerians love football, so we know that the demand is there.
I think
the market is there.
You just feel that. I think the market is there. I just feel the market.
How do we tap into
they're not doing enough. How? Get this. There are a lot of people. There are a lot of companies who want to invest in sports. We were here. We were here some few days ago where some group of guys wanted to do a sports competition. This is what the NFF should have cashed in. Okay, this is the under 17 tournament. It's like grooming under 17, automatic under 17 for Nigeria without even breaking their leg.
To pay for it.
Yeah. So what do they do? The little support would be good. That's what we're talking about. We have to come back to the scratch. I believe there are so many companies who want to invest on sports if they can see it viable. It's not about just putting billboards on the stadiums when the Super Eagles are playing or scripting. It goes beyond that. What do they get back? Inscribe your names on your training kits. Do a lot of marketing. A lot of Nigerians will want to invest because an average Nigerian would always watch the Super Eagles play and always watch the Sport Falcons play. Always. And those are the big fish.
I complain about the Super Eagles all the time, but when they say Super Eagles is playing, I'm there.
Yeah,
I can't help it.
You just can't help it. Yeah. I think get them more frenzy. That you could create a semi-concert, get the players to come around with the fans, allow those sponsors, get their flyers everywhere. There are no ways you can cash in on this. I think they've not done enough. I feel if they really want to get sponsors that will not only drive the NFF, that will drive both the NPFL and the NWFL, that's the Nigerian Women Football League. There are a lot of prospective sponsors in Nigeria that would put in good money into our league, into our football, if only the right thing is done. What's the right thing? Accountability. I put in ₦1, I should be able to get ₦1 back. What are they giving back to those sponsors? You know what? They'll tell you, I can't put in money when I can't get something. They may not get raw cash from you. They may get the ambience. They may get the fact that the fans, whenever they see the jersey of the Super Eagles, the tracksuit, you see the logo of them there. Whenever you see wherever the Super Eagles are, that stuff is always there to show for it. It's more than the money. I think there are a lot of people want to sponsor, but I don't think they've done enough. They've not done enough. I think there's money that not only the NFF, I think so. I think that can sponsor both the NPFL and the NWA. I'm not talking about the lower leagues, but at least for both the first tier of the men league and the first tier of the women league. At some point last year, the women league was stopped because of lack of funding. Some teams couldn't travel. And don't forget, some of these states sponsor both the male and the female teams, and they'll tell you there's no money. Sometimes the players will encamp around the government house. This has to stop. We need more of private hands in our football.
But for private hands to get in,
yeah.
And I think maybe this is the final thing I would like to ask you a question
about.
We have to get our stadium packed.
Yeah.
And very often we don't. Even when Glow was sponsoring the NPFL, I think, if I estimate correctly, perhaps up to half of these games, the stadium was not packed. It was not full.
But
it was. And when you're watching on television, you want to see a packed stadium. You want to see that there are people there, and they're filling up the stands. When you watch a game and the stadium is half empty, there is a way, it's kind of down. You can't go, because football is a community sport. And you want to feel a connection with the fans who are there. You want to watch them singing. You want to see those cutaways of expressions of people in the stands. So it's key that we have to get people to develop that match attending spirit once again.
First of all,
what is keeping Nigerians from the stadium? And how can we get more of them to go in there?
There are a lot of ways to get fans back on the stadium. I think there was a time where the Canopy stadiums, I could call like 3 or 4 or 5 stadiums, where the stadiums were always filled to the teeth. But the NPFL didn't cash in on that. Like I called the Canopy Stadium, the Imba Stadium, in Aba, Enugu Rangers Stadium there in Nnamdi Azikiwe, where they call the Cathedral. There were a lot of stadiums like that I could point at my hands on. But I think, first of all, create an awareness. They need to get the fans. Practically half of Nigerians don't know what the NPFL is about. They can't even list 3 or 4 teams in the NPFL. Let them know about the NPFL. I think they've not done more when it comes to, how would I put it now, more when it comes to broadcasting or telling people about the league. More has not been done.
Promoting and advertising.
Even our own local channels, our own Nigerian channels, we don't even advertise our league in it. That's how poor it has become. Get fans to know about our league, create incentive for fans. Maybe to say the first 2,000 fans to come will get this, first 200,000 fans to come get this. These are a lot of things that can come, and fans will begin to troop in. Get these games on TV. People want to see themselves on TV. Get these games on TV. At a point in time, you tell them that if you're not as full as this, we won't put your games on TV. They will. Fans, the clubs know how to. They know how to get. They know how to get the fans. I could give an example for Enugu Rangers when their first game on TV in an evening game match. The fans, they were full and the people were standing. This is almost a 40,000 capacity stadium. Now that's in Enugu. So they know how to get. If your pitch, your pitch is not good, we won't televise your games. If your fans are not to a certain level, we won't televise your game. These clubs know how to get their fans into this pitch, and they know the more fans they get to the pitch, the more they can cash in on sponsors because themselves also are individual bodies who wants to get sponsors and people to invest in the league. I think they do know, but most importantly, I think the biggest problem is the popularity, getting the fans to know about it. That's the way now we can sit down here and talk about the Premier League. There's a lot of incentive. The best players Premier League are coming down to Nigeria to interact with the fans. Like I said, we'll get this is possible. We'll get our MPFA players to interact with fans, create an open ground where they can interact with the best players. This is the high goal scorer in the league. This is the best striker in the league. This guy has been in the Super Eagles. And most of them are playing the Super Eagles, so they are known players. Like few of them.
Could they get some of these retiring
Retired, yeah,
to come and play maybe in
A
the twilight years of their
career?
to join the Nigerian
we did
team
that before when with the likes of Rashidi later, blessed memory of
Rashidi Yakini. And
he
the
came
first
back,
game was sold out.
We
Because
could do
everybody wanted to see Rashidi Yakini.
the same thing with Joseph Yobo. We thought he was going to play in the MPFL. The first game was sold out. The fans thought he was heading to Ifa FC by Newi. The stadium was sold out, but he wasn't there. These are get players who are in the twilight of their career to come back and play in the league. And why would they? And how would they be able to come and play? If you get the pitch up and get the pitch in a good state, they would want to come at least give their last 2-3 years to the MPFL. This would draw more crowd. The time Rashidi was playing, every home game was a sellout. The time this young man who was about to retire came back and played Nigeria, it was a sellout. There's so many ways. I think they've not done enough to get. I think even if the NFF can even give help out to those clubs who will be able to get those older players to come and play here, we'll say, okay, we'll take some percentage of his salary, not because they want to build a brand. They think the NFF is a brand, but they haven't done a lot of homework to make sure this brand become one of the best. I think it used to be the best in Africa, but right now we're nowhere near.
Football commentary, perhaps. I mean, I look at Super Sports. I see all of these legends.
Yeah,
Michael Owen.
When you see the likes of former players,
captains,
former winners. Get the best.
Who are very influential.
Yeah,
in the game
get
to
the
come
best.
and run commentary.
And they want to analyze.
It excites people. They
want to see what this play.
And even run commentary during games.
Yeah, and imagine a Liverpool player listening to Michael Owen. Who say, this guy has seen it all. He's played it all. He's talking from a side of a player who has been in that situation before. That is what makes the league better. We can get the likes of Jose Yebo come to run analysis for our MPFL. We can get the likes of Victor Ezeji, who has played there for most of the best teams in Nigeria, to get them to run commentaries. There are so many players who have retired from the MPFL. We know them as Hassan because they've also played for the Super Eagles. Maybe if not the main Super Eagles team, but that is the home-based Super Eagles. We've known some crop of them. The likes of Teophilus Afelo Kai. Get them to come in, run commentaries, and maybe. But I still believe in the next 3-4 years, if we do the right things, we can become one. We used to be one of the best leagues in Africa. We can return back to where we used to be.
Return to that.
Yeah.
Wow. Well, Donsor Rizenchi, I'm sure you keep watching the NFF and keep us updated about all of the activities going on there.
Yeah.
And we're looking forward to them getting it right.